Hi, everyone, I guess. This is my first vlog. Um, I figure I would just introduce myself. My name is Sherry, and I am an American living in Austria. So I thought about starting a blog, a written blog, and when I first moved here, I had more time because I had quit my job and gone on a year-long adventure, and I had all the free time. I was super adventurous as far as spending my days meeting people, trying to start connections with other expats, and running whatever I wanted to do, watching TV, however I wanted to spend my time, I could do it that way. And so when I first decided to come here, I knew that there would be some ups and downs of living abroad, and that a good way to deal with those kind of ups and downs would be to write about them and to write about my life so far and kind of what brought me here. But then kind of slowly I started to write less and less as life got more interesting and as I was kind of traveling back and forth to America to get visas. So I've always wanted to start a blog, and so I figured then maybe starting a vlog would be easier because then all I have to do is make sure that I'm sitting down because I'm a bit more of a talker than a writer. So I thought maybe this would be easier. So yeah, I am 31, 32 and not so long from now. I was born in Connecticut, and then I was living in different states for school and then for work. My background is as an accountant, and my career started in kind of like the audit consulting realm, and never really kind of seemed like a perfect fit for me. I'm a little bit more of a people person and always kind of wanted to be part of a company rather than coming in and having one kind of dislike you because you're coming in to test them. So after I kind of worked my way up in my career, that wasn't really so pleasing to me anymore. I got married at a young age and divorced at somewhat of a young age. Maybe I'll talk about that some other time. And so I kind of found myself in a place where I was not doing work I really enjoyed, didn't really want to live where I was living, and I needed an adventure. I was 29 and I felt like I didn't know where to start over as far as moving and a new job. So I had a friend in Austria, and I decided I would just take an adventure here. I looked at it as maybe 3 months, maybe a year. I kind of had my eye on a year because it didn't seem so likely that I would be able to learn a new language. It was really the German, where I was like, well, I won't be there forever, and it's far from family, but it would be a really cool chance to just kind of hit the restart button. I had planned to maybe work at a kindergarten and be an English assistant because this is a job where you don't really need much of a background other than native German. And I thought, well, dealing with kind of a dry subject like accounting and numbers and going to an office every day, working with little kids would be completely different, and it would be kind of an opportunity to see if maybe that was interesting, but also just give myself kind of a peace of mind break, a job that is a job, you make money, but you didn't have to ever bring work home with you because I'm pretty sure not allowed to steal the children, so that worked out well. But when I got here, everything kind of turned upside down quickly because I realized I was not going to be able to get that job because of visa reasons. One thing I've noticed since moving abroad is that it's really hard to get accurate information. When you look online, government sources and some of these things are usually in a different language, which makes it a bit confusing. But sometimes even different websites have different information. Like, I was looking at consulates and these kind of things in America for Austria, and one state consulate would say one thing, another state would say another thing. So I've learned a lot just by doing. I always attempt to read a lot and see what I need, but it doesn't always work for me. So this was one of them as too. So I got here and thought, yeah, then I'll just start working. But then I realized that's not really possible with the visa requirements and resident permit requirements. So then I thought, okay, well then I'll stay for 3 months, but I'll try to find a way to work and stay longer. But then, and there's also rules about Schengen. So Schengen is a kind of a restrictive law for traveling if you're American traveling to Europe. So Schengen basically says that you can stay in Europe for 3 months and then you have to go back to America. And in the span of 6 months, you can only be in Europe for 3 months. So then that was kind of stressful because I'd also heard different things about the Schengen rule that as long as if you leave the European countries and come back, then like your clock starts again for 3 months. I went to Bulgaria while I was here at the beginning, and then I realized that that's also untrue, that your clock doesn't start over. So I kind of just like quickly learned that I needed to leave again. But yeah, kind of starting from the beginning when I was in Austria, I met some really cool people and had a really nice time, and I was living on the couch of my friend, which also was fantastic because I love her to death and I'm really a people person. So one of the things that I was getting really sick of in where I was living in America was that I was alone. And again, I was formerly married, so I had gone from living at home with my parents and my family to college in dorm rooms and apartments with people. My first apartment when I started my job was also with one of my college roommates. Then I was with my ex-husband, and then I was alone. And this was fine. I did it for 4 years, but I didn't really enjoy it. So it was kind of like really instant gratification to all of a sudden be in a foreign country, not working, and just kind of loving life and living with my best friend on her couch and like not being alone very often, which was actually, I just loved it. So when I got here, it was interesting because in America, I was also like dating not such a nice guy and needed to restart in that area of my life too. And it was kind of nice because I was just wanting to be single, which I had been really for years since my divorce, just kind of like this uncomfortable casual dating situation in America. But when I got here, I was like really focused on myself. You know, in America, I had like sold everything that I owned, gone to stay with my parents for a month just because my mom wasn't so happy about me leaving, and so we got some quality time together. And then when I got here, it was very enjoyable and able to focus on myself and just had such peace of mind coming from like not the best situation for work and just wanting this like fresh start. I guess I was really wanting it too, so I was super happy about it. I looked at everything that was kind of unique to Austria in a good way or a bad way as just like a learning experience, and loved visiting every country I got to see. And but this area of like men wasn't so interesting. I think I went on like one Tinder date and then really was just focused on myself. But then one of my friends who I had met here, who's from Poland, asked me if I wanted to go to this event with her. In Austria, they have around Christmas time a couple different holidays. So they have a St. Nicholas Day where, you know, it's like the concept of this kind of St. Nick, Santa-esque on one day, and they have Christmas too, but their Christmas isn't Santa Claus. It's a baby angel that comes and visits and brings all your presents, which doesn't seem as realistic to me, but I think it's just because I'm American, because Santa shimmying down your chimney when you don't even have a chimney in some locations, not so realistic either. But they have a day called Krampus. And so this is a big scary monster, and where Saint Nick comes and gives good kids toys, Krampus comes and he's a big scary monster and he puts bad kids in a sack and beats them, which is kind of like hysterical coming from American background or just like not knowing this story and this culture. But so there was a Krampus fair, and my friend wanted to take me or like parade at night, and it sounded super cool, and I loved it. She was so nice and great, and her mom was coming and her boyfriend was going to come, and it just sounded like a really fun, again, like I was just kind of a yes girl at the time, and I think I still am, but I was a yes girl at the time, and I said, yeah, sure, sounds cool. I was actually a little nervous because I was afraid that like someone dressed as a scary monster costume was going to beat me up. Of course, my mom scared me about this too because she's afraid of everything, so she like made sure to tell me 2 or 3 stories about like drunken men getting in Krampus suits and beating up locals, but that did not happen. But it was a unique surprise because on the way to this parade with my friend, I don't even know if she told me on the way or like when we actually got there, but it wasn't just her and her mom and her boyfriend. It was also like her 6 other friends. And so I didn't know anything about any of them. They were speaking combined either German or English. And I ended up meeting my husband now there. So that kind of went quickly that we met in December, quickly fell in love. I think it was just like days before that I was like saying to my mom that like, well, the one thing you have to know is that I'm not going to meet anyone here because I'm really not interested in Austrian men with their accents and just the cultural divide. It would be way too much. Because my mom also, her biggest fear was that I came here and met someone and never came back. Sorry, Mom. Because that's what happened. So I was here for 3 months, went back to America, and I got my visa D. And a visa D is just kind of a 6-month visa that you get for living in Austria. And you are studying German, or at least that was my explanation. And so my husband and I were obviously in this like great dating love phase, and the plan was that I would come back and move in with him, and I would do 6 months of intensive German lessons. And so getting my visa took a month or two, but this was also really nice in America because it gave me another opportunity to kind of just do the rounds and visit my family and see everyone again and tell them these fantastic stories of my super cool life at the moment, and then I fell in love, and then I'm going back to Austria. So yeah, then I had a couple months of just having fun in America, came back to Austria, moved in with my current husband now, and you can, I guess, see him in the video, but I guess I'll move that away just to keep his anonymity. But came back, started learning German, which I was really afraid of. I didn't think it was capable for me to learn it because I've never been like a language person. My sister just like loves languages, and she's like around a person speaking a different language, and she just picks it up, where I took 8 years of Spanish and really just like struggled with it and didn't have any skills to like call home about after all this time learning it. But here it's really different, and I think it's really different when you're in the country learning the language and you're kind of immersed in it, and there's a reason, there's a more important reason why you're learning it, and that is to like live in that country, whereas if you're just learning a language in school, you're not as kind of motivated to learn. So I did that for 6 months, and sometime in the middle, my husband proposed to me, and we got engaged, and we planned a wedding. We got married pretty quickly, and of course for love, because I mean, I think as someone who has been married and divorced, I take marriage even more seriously because I would never want to go through that again. But I didn't lose my spontaneity or like my love for love or my hope of finding someone else. And so when it happened, I knew it was fast, but I just knew it was going to work too. So we got married, and then the like logical, like practical reason was also that once we're married, I could change my status here from an American on a visa to a family residence permit, which basically means that I would get a residence permit based on being married to an Austrian. And that is also a whole fun process. Also getting married too. Tons of forms, tons of documents. Documents have to be, certified by America, translated, official, all these things. So if anyone ever has questions about that, then I'm happy to share. But yeah, so I am now here, so over 2 years, kind of like I moved here in 2005 on Halloween, and now it's March 2018. So, but there's like that time in the middle where I was here only for 3 months. I'm back in America for my residence permit. So really, April 2016 was when I moved here with intentions and learning the language and everything. So I'm coming up on what I consider my 2-month anniversary, or 2-year anniversary. And then in the summer, it'll also be my 2-year anniversary. So I guess for this channel, I just want to talk about anything that's relative to me and might be helpful for others because, like I said, there's kind of limited resources sometimes, or inaccurate resources for getting information about living abroad. So if anyone ever has questions about living in Austria as an American, or potentially even as just, an expat, so someone that's not from Austria, then maybe that'll be helpful. Maybe I'll share some of these things. And then anything I encounter in normal life. We are starting to think about kids, so maybe I will be talking about, trying to conceive, because I have been looking up like crazy all of those videos that are already on YouTube, and I find them super helpful. And I don't know, just about my life or whatever I want to share. I mean, I guess I was kind of on the fence about a vlog, because on one hand, I kind of like need to get these things out, and I wanted to create a blog anyway, so I was willing to, put it out there already. But, it does seem a little bit personal because it's my face and me talking. But I'm interested in it, and I want to try it, and it's also maybe a cool way for my friends and family to keep up with me in America. So day 1, vlog 1, life hands you lemons. I just thought that was a fun name, since, I've definitely had some interesting experiences in life so far. 32, but, married at 22, divorced at 26, and all these other things. So I have had some living, and now I'm, international. So, but yeah, I look forward to doing this, and I hope that it's helpful or nice for other people to watch too, and nice for me to kind of express myself. So yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. I don't know how you end these things. I probably should have paid attention when I was watching other people's. Bye.